A few weeks after we were married, more than 50 years ago now, I asked my wife a question. I said, Diane, why did you marry me? Have you ever wondered that? Have you ever wondered why the person you married chose to marry you? I was really curious because I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have a strong background. I didn't come from a particularly good family background. I had no prospects in my job. I was just starting out in my career. I couldn't see why she would want to marry me. So I asked her, Diane, why did you marry me? And to my surprise, Diane didn't even pause for a second. It's like she just knew the answer. She said, Mike, that's easy. I married you because I knew I could trust you. I was a little surprised, to tell you the truth. I didn't know what she was going to say, but that's what she did say. So that means that when Diane and I were courting, she was watching me. She wasn't just attracted to me, though thankfully she was. And she liked me as a person. And she liked my values, and she shared a common view of life with me. We looked at the world very much the same way. We were not compatible in some ways. I'm very verbal. She's very quiet. And when we got married, at that time in our courtship and marriage, Diane was very shy. Those of you who know my wife now would realize that that is not really a problem for her now. But then it was. And so we did struggle with some areas of compatibility in our courtship, and then even later in marriage. But none of those things were the foundational issue for Diane. For her, the issue was she knew she wanted to marry somebody she could trust. Now, I think that's what you were looking for too, whether you thought about it or whether you didn't. You were looking for somebody you could trust. You wanted to know that they would be faithful to you in the big things, true, but not just in the big things like staying faithful and not having a third party or having an affair, handling your finances well, keeping your confidences. Those are all the big issues. But you wanted to see faithfulness in every area of life. Now, John Gottman, who has done probably more marriage research than anybody alive today, John Gottman said that the number one issue that makes the difference between what he calls masters and disasters, those who succeed in their marriages and those who don't, is the issue of trust. It comes down to that. Can I trust you? And will I respond with faithfulness to the person I've married? It comes right down to that. And it's in larger, broader issues of life, not just in the big issues. Can I trust you to grow in your understanding me? Can I trust you to support me when I'm going through something difficult? Can I trust you to be the kind of person who will try to understand my extended family, even though I don't sometimes? Can I trust you? That's the big question. So in this little edition of 4 Minutes to a Better Marriage, that's the question I want to leave with you. Can you trust the person you're married to? And are you the kind of person who has earned and is still deserving of the trust that you ask your spouse to put in you when you got married? Now, if you're not, there are ways to restore broken trust, but it's not easy. So it's much better to keep your promises every day, all the days of your marriage. This is Mike Constantine, and this is 4 Minutes to a Better Marriage.